49ers starting quarterback Brock Purdy is in an elite tier among NFL quarterbacks. And this is not just a 2024 thing where this is new. This has been the case since Brock Purdy took over as the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback during the 2022 season when he took over for an injured Jimmy Garoppolo. And how about these numbers, which will surely open your eyes? Since the start of the 2023 season, here are the numbers compared side by side between Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes. Win-loss record, Purdy is 14-6. Mahomes, 14-6. You would never think that if you don't watch this Niners team all that much, and even if you do watch this Niners team a lot, that Brock Purdy would have more passing yards than the alien Patrick Mahomes. He does, since the start of last year. 5,410 to Mahomes' 5,067. Touchdown to interception ratio. Mahomes makes so many back-breaking plays, so many highlight reel-worthy plays. What an incredible arm that he has. He can drop it down to multiple angles. He's won so many big games, and he always throws for so many yards and so many touchdowns and makes great decisions with the football. 33 touchdowns to 19 picks for Mahomes, 36 touchdowns to 13 picks for Brock Purdy. He has a better touchdown to interception ratio as well. Quarterback rating, 111.3 for Purdy, 92.1 for Mahomes. Yards per attempt, Mahomes throws the ball downfield. He always takes the top off of the defense. Brock Purdy edges him there too by 2.5 yards. 9.6 to 7.1. Now, a lot of the haters will say, but Chase, Purdy has all of the weapons. He has Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy doesn't have a Super Bowl championship, does he? Check the rings. This is Purdy's second full season as a starting quarterback. And going back to the supporting cast, Mahomes has one of the best general managers in the league. He has one of the best owners in the league. And Patrick Mahomes arguably has the best offensive mind and best offensive head coach in the history of the NFL. And oh yeah, arguably the best tight end in the history of the NFL. By the way, he's also supported by one of the best defenses and defensive coordinators in the National Football League. And to start his career, remember when he was throwing to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? But Chase, this is only an argument from the start of last year. I caught you slipping, didn't I? Highest passer rating, first 25 starts in their respective NFL careers since 1970. Brock Purdy, 112.6. Patrick Mahomes, 112.5. Kurt Warner, 106.2. A Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer, and Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick in the draft, who is writing his story and off to an incredible start to start his NFL career. But the detractors and the haters will always try to move the goalposts. That is just the reality at this point of this conversation, because Brock Purdy has passed the eye test. He might not be as physically gifted as Patrick Mahomes, but I think Purdy excels in a way that's really special. And I'm not comparing him here in this regard to Patrick Mahomes, but nowadays in the NFL, you don't really see a lot of quarterbacks throw with timing, anticipation, touch, and accuracy. You don't see them being able to read defenses and pull the trigger quickly because everything is pre-diagnosed, pre-snap for a lot of these quarterbacks. And that's why quarterback play nowadays in the NFL isn't the same as it was when I was growing up, especially, or when you were growing up watching Joe Montana and Steve Young, and for me, when I'm coming up watching Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, as well as Aaron Rodgers. They had this special command at the line of scrimmage, and they did such a great job of reading defenses, making audibles and checks, but knowing where to go with the football based upon what the defense is doing. Throwing with timing, accuracy, anticipation. So while Purdy doesn't have a bazooka for an arm like Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't have the big stature of Mahomes, what he does is very elite and can't always be coached. And there's some of the aforementioned strengths that I talked about. And going back to the point that I made a little bit earlier, Brock Purdy has been doing this since he took over as the Niners starting quarterback. Games of a 110-plus quarterback rating going back to Week 14 in 2022 when he became the Niners starting quarterback. Not only does Brock Purdy have 15 of these such games, but he's basically doubled up on the next best quarterback right behind him in Dak Prescott. So Purdy has 15 of these such games. Prescott has 8. Lamar Jackson has 6. Patrick Mahomes has 4. Matthew Stafford has 4. Jalen Hurts has 4. And Josh Allen has 4. So what Purdy has been able to do has been special. Kyle Shanahan said that after the New England game on Sunday, that Brock Purdy is a special quarterback, and he really is. And those of you who feel the same way, I do believe you're on the right side of the argument and on the right side of this conversation, whereas people like Nick Wright, who always want to discredit Brock Purdy and not give him his flowers and not give him his credit, but who'll side with Patrick Mahomes, who has lesser numbers than Brock Purdy in a couple of these categories, I think they're in the wrong. I had said this offseason that I thought Purdy going into this year can get better and improve with more experience. And some people countered that by saying, I think Brock Purdy last year, he eclipsed. He hit his peak. From that point, he's going to come down to the norm. I actually think that Purdy, as more of a mature quarterback, more of an experienced quarterback, has been better this year than he was last year, albeit a small sample size, 4 games into the year. But when you understand the speed of the NFL game and the physicality of the NFL game and how defenses work and timing and all of those other fine nuances, you can get better because the game slows down. And I think we're seeing a more confident Brock Purdy on the field as a leader and as a quarterback. This year so far, he is number 1 in the league in passing yards. He is first in yards per attempt. He led the league in that category last year. Air yards per attempt, 3rd at 9.7. His pressured completion percentage, because he's been pressured a lot, still 4th at 69.5. So even when the pressure is coming, he's still able to display accuracy. He's 4th in air yards with 917. His adjusted air yards per attempt is 6th at 8.4. His accuracy rating, 6. That's 8th. And his pressured throws at 9th with 23. Purdy is a limited athlete. That's something else that some of the haters and the detractors will say. He's a limited athlete. He's a limited quarterback. We can dispel that now as well. Because what did Brock Purdy do against the Rams? What did he do against the Patriots in consecutive weeks? Pocket mobility, but mobility with his feet and legs out of structure. Whether he's buying time to make throws downfield or he's buying time to survey the field, he's making defenders miss, he's running around, or he's making plays happen with his legs, which is also what he's been able to do. And how about this flex from Purdy after the game on Sunday? He said, I'm pretty sure, and you could fact check me, that I have a faster 10-yard start to the 40-yard dash compared to Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. He really did. So he does have some of that short area quickness, which helps him evade sacks, spin out of sacks, stay on his feet. And what I love, he always keeps his eyes up trying to make a play downfield. And how about one of those throws that he made to George Kittle, where he's redirecting him somewhere out of structure and is able to throw that football. And to this point, look at his throwing chart against New England on Sunday. And this has kind of become the norm, right? In the green, you have completions. In the white, you have incompletions. And then the blue streak, his touchdown to George Kittle. But look at the wide array of throws that Purdy made in this game. And he's pretty much doing this on a routine basis. But look at the depth of target here for his throws. I mean, we got some long balls way downfield here, and there's multiple of them. But he's also throwing from sideline to sideline at all 3 levels. What we're witnessing right now, and what we've witnessed since he took over as the Niners starting quarterback in 2022, really is a special story. This was the last pick of the NFL draft, who is now developing for our eyes, and I think that he can continue to get better. He only entered the league in 2022, and he's accomplished this much already. Now, when he inevitably gets that contract extension, giving him $60 million, in the future, maybe the Niners aren't able to have as many complementary pieces around him, although the NFL salary cap going up will help the Niners pay some of his weapons, so then there will be more pressure on him. But in a game where Purdy didn't have some of his star power without Debo, Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle 2 weeks ago against the Rams, he was, 22 of 29? Very efficient and elevating his teammates. You know special when you're seeing it, and right now, we're seeing a pretty special story get put together and unfold right before our eyes. So if you think Brock Purdy is elite, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video. If not, you can disagree with me. I want you to comment why, but you better bring the heat, and you better show me that you know what you're talking about.